misplaced monk here. I got the sniffles, but I'm gonna push through. Today's video, Captain Marvel vs. the Brood Part 2. Here we go. Many years would pass before Carol came across the Brood again. One night when out on patrol, Carol would see a giant yellow glowing object flying through the sky. After chasing the UFO for about an hour at top speed, Carol would call Captain America and the Avengers for backup, but they had their hands full. Carol would continue to follow the object until it began to lose altitude in Spalding, Georgia, near a Waffle Hut. Carol would try with all her might to stop the object, but it was too fast. It would soon catch the attention of the people on the ground, but it was too late to react.
No! Whoa, lasers? Where the hell are the lasers coming from? Yeah!
The laser blast would hit Carol in the head, causing her to lose consciousness and crash onto the roof of a car. Carol would eventually awaken to the sounds of people screaming. Once Carol was able to get to her feet, she would stare at the object's point of impact in horror. The town was being overrun by the Brood. So 2 hours before this event, the Brood was under attack from an unnamed force. The force was powerful enough to cause a massive explosion aboard their Akanti vessel. This would cause the Brood to evacuate via escape pods. One of these pods landed in Spalding, Georgia, which brings us back to the point of impact.
Brood? What the hell are the Brood doing on Earth? Come here, you.
No! This one is dangerous. We must take care of it before. Tear its limbs from its sockets.
How about we leave its limbs and sockets alone, or else it might get mad.
Despite Carol's bravado, her leg would get trapped, causing her to soon be overwhelmed.
Can't breathe. Too much pressure. Too many of them.
As the Brood moved in for the kill, Carol would desperately fire a photon blast. Then suddenly, a bright light would shine upon Carol as she heard the Brood say to one another, "Kill it faster. Crew will be here any moment." "Too late. Crew is here." Carol would then hear a strange noise that slowly increased in volume, which ended with a huge blast of light, wiping out every Brood that was atop her. Bathed in a blinding blue light, Carol would hear the sounds of dying Brood as she again lost consciousness. Carol would soon awake upon the remains of the falling Brood and come face to face with a creature unlike anything she has ever seen.
What are you? My name is Carol. Oh geez, I'm a friend. Do you?
Panicked, Carol would blast the creature's head off, but its head would grow right back.
I might be in trouble here.
The creature would begin to send some sort of electrical pulse into Carol's head. She would see images of a crystal and an army base. Carol would deduce that the creature was ripping images out of her head as it tossed her to the ground. Carol would try to stop the creature as it began to fly away, but it would send her crashing back to the earth. Wanting to get to the bottom of what was going on, Carol would then re-enter the impact site to search the escape pod. She would come across two Brood warriors. One would say that Carol wasn't crew and opted to kill her, but it was quickly killed by a photon blast. She would then punch the other one, saying,
"You guys keep talking about crew. The thing that was out here, is that crew?"
"Crew hunts us. It kills our kind to near extinction. We came here for a final stand."
"Why here?"
"Cavorite crystal. Our sensors detected a large amount near here."
"Crew was looking for cavorite crystals too. Why?"
"We made Crew believe it could use the crystal as a weapon. Crew channels radiant energy. If it attempted to channel that through the crystal,
Crew would destroy itself.
Yes.
And about half of the planet Earth.
This was deemed acceptable."
"Are there any more of you in there?"
"No. I'm the last of this pod."
"Good."
As Carol flew out of the impact zone, she would yell at herself for wasting time with the Brood and not pursuing Crew. Carol was familiar with the Calvarite crystals from her NASA days. With the right amount of energy poured into the crystal, you could make an anti-gravity device or create a faster-than-light star drive. But the crystals were wildly unstable. If you pour too much energy into it, you get feedback and the crystal explodes. A piece of crystal no bigger than an inch can destroy a city block. When experiments ceased on the crystal, it was stockpiled underground at McCord Army Base, where Crew was currently attacking, tearing through soldiers like tissue paper. Carol would soon arrive to see the base in shambles. There were hundreds of crystals in the underground bunker. If Crew were to try and channel its energy through them, it would vaporize a hunk of the planet in the blink of an eye. Carol would increase her flying speed to stop that from happening. Crew would breach the chamber that housed the crystal, but Carol wasn't far behind. Crew would break the glass barrier and take hold of the crystal and began to energize it. Carol would stare in shock, but still try and stop Crew.
No! I can't be too late. I can't be.
But suddenly, everything turned white. Back in Spalding, Georgia, we see a few survivors noticing a bright light coming from McCord. But before they could process what they were seeing, they were soon consumed by said light. Near the Earth's ozone layer, Carol would give chase to Crew. Carol would move in for an attack, but Crew would counter with a powerful back fist. At that moment, Carol would realize something.
All the oxygen burned out of the storage facility before I could take a deep breath. So I'm about to suffocate. Oh no, can't breathe.
Carol would quickly fly back into the Earth's atmosphere to catch her breath.
Air, I love you. Air, let's never leave each other again. Oh my God.
Carol would stare down at a large crater where the town of Spalding, Georgia and McCord Army Base used to be. Carol would stare at the devastation in stunned silence. As her mind tried to comprehend what she was seeing, Crew would also re-enter the atmosphere, then surprise attack Carol, slicing her side. Carol would fly away as Crew took a second swipe at her. As Carol tried to escape, Crew would transform their blades into some sort of gun. Tapping into her second wind, Carol would charge at Crew, catching it with a mean left hook, sending Crew flying off the planet. Remembering this time to take a deep breath, Carol would give chase, but as soon as she began to get close, Crew would hit her with a blast of energy. Carol would eat the blast and go in for another try, but got caught by another one. Desperate and on the verge of passing out due to blood loss, Carol only had one option left to deal with Crew. Carol would punch through Crew's gun and take hold of the crystal. While looking Crew in the eye, Carol would overload the crystal with energy, causing a massive explosion, seemingly destroying the crystal. The explosion seemed to rip Crew apart. As for Carol, she was sent hurling back to Earth, only to be stopped by the ground.
Oh God.
Carol would look into the night sky to see Crew apparently exploding.
It worked. It worked.
She would soon pass out, even transforming out of her suit. Later that morning, Carol would be found by the Fantastic Four. Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, would wonder why Carol was in Georgia, as he noticed a blue substance on Carol's left arm. Mr. Fantastic would take hold of a sample, commenting that he wasn't sure if it was organic or synthetic. In space, however, we see the remains of Crew begin to regenerate. Many moons and the First Civil War would pass until Carol tangled with the Brood again. At this point in Carol's story, she is the leader of a small team within S.H.I.E.L.D. Carol was aboard her team's ship talking with Beast when suddenly a fiery blast blew a hole in the ship's roof. As her team rushed to Carol's aid, she would come face to face with Crew. A battle would ensue, but would soon end Once Crew stabbed Carol in the back with one of its tentacles. Crew would draw Carol to its face and telepathically say, "You have something of mine." So in a nutshell, that substance that the Fantastic Four found on Carol was a piece of Crew. Since their first meeting, whenever Carol was in serious danger, she would mysteriously become blue. For example, in her battle against MODOK, she became heavily irradiated to the point that her genetic code was being altered at the root level. She would hear a voice in her head say, "Careful, if she dies, so do we." The other incident was when she was under the control of the Puppet Master. Unable to move or make a sound, Carol laid in horror before she suddenly began speaking in another voice and broke free of the Puppet Master's control. She would be seen by a couple of doctors, but the only one that had a clear answer was Beast. He figured the substance was not only healing Carol, but trying to communicate with something outside of Earth. When he and Carol were on the phone earlier, Beast was informing her that the signal outside of Earth was getting closer to her location, which brings us back to "You have something of mine." As Carol lost consciousness, two of her teammates would try to help. Agent Sum would try a direct approach, but had everything above his waist vaporized by Crew's blaster. Machine Man would dodge the blast and manage to shoot Crew's gun into goo. Unfazed, Crew would morph its appendage into a sickle-shaped blade, then cut Machine Man in half. Crew would then grab Carol, then quickly fly away. We next see a fleet of spaceships heading towards a green planet. As we move closer, we see Carol free-falling towards the planet. As she got closer, that unknown voice would speak in her head, identifying Carol Danvers, contacting Carol Danvers, issuing await command.
What? Where?
Fact statement. You are being shown why things have happened.
Oh my god, why can't I change? Why can't I fly?
This is not for Miss Marvel. This is for Carol Danvers.
We're the same person. I am Miss Marvel. It's just a costume.
Sadly, Carol will fall headfirst to a river. As she crawled onto the bank of the river, she would be greeted by a female creature, welcoming you to my homeworld, introducing Construct as Crew.
Crew? The thing that tried to kill me.
Acknowledging there has been miscommunication. Carol would attempt to shoot a photon blast, but nothing happened.
What have you done to my powers?
Crew would explain that both her and Carol's physical bodies have been shut down due to repairs. The part of Crew that is within Carol is impossible to remove without damaging both their bodies. Carol would then figure out that this was all in her head, to which Crew would confirm, figuring this was happening due to the trauma Carol endured.
You tried to kill me! You nearly destroyed the Earth!
There were errors made.
Get out of my head! Get out!
No, you do not understand. If you break the link before...
I understand plenty. I understand.
Before Carol could finish her statement, she found herself in a new environment. She was back in the physical world on some sort of island. The wound on her back was gone, and laying on the ground next to her was Crew. Carol would soon realize that the island she and Crew were on was in fact Monster Island. Carol would try to suit up, but her powers failed to respond. Carol would do her best to remain alive as a four-armed monster tried to get her. She would manage to impale it on a tree limb, but was soon confronted by another hulking monster. Carol.
Get away from me.
As Crew sliced the monster in half, she would tell Carol that if she can separate the parts that are intertwined, they will both be stronger. If not, Carol would remain powerless, and she would be unable to alter her makeup. We can die together, or we can join forces and survive. The decision is yours. Carol would contemplate for a second, then reach out for Crew's hand.
Oh my... This this is your home, isn't it?
Yes, as it was.
Before the brood.
Suddenly, the sky filled with falling lights.
It's beautiful.
It is the end of my world. It is the coming of the brood. This is the fate your world faces as well. I tried to save you.
You nearly destroyed my planet to kill a handful of brood.
No. There was one other pod that made it onto Earth that night.
And that other pod, it's where you took me, isn't it? It's on Monster Island, with our physical bodies.
Crew would reveal it was more than just a pod. It was a brood queen. On top of that, the queen had time to build an army and is planning to spread the curse of the brood back across the cosmos. Our repairs were to be done before the brood found us, but you fought back.
You attacked me.
There was no time for arguing. With our bodies unprotected, we must hope I have time to do what must be done before the brood realize where we are. Although Crew tried to keep Carol in the mindscape, her battle instincts would cause her to regain consciousness. The brood would cautiously move in as Carol struggled to break free of her connection to Crew.
Yuck! Back off, damn you!
It threatened, humorous, so small and pink. This is a human? Yes. Kill it, and return Crew to the Queen. Still without powers, Carol would have to get creative with her attacks. Taking out one drone with a tree branch, she would then dodge a laser blast and drop kick one drone while simultaneously throwing the tree branch into the other drone's throat. Once armed, Carol would fire upon the remaining brood. Retreat. We have what we came for.
What they came for? Crew. Where is Crew?
I'm still here, within you. Now we must hurry, Carol. We must find where they are taking my body. Carol would eventually find the brood.
Oh boy, this isn't good. This is not good at all.
Carol would observe captured creatures, known as moloids, writhing in pain. As Carol spoke about them, Crew would take over saying, "No, they are brood now. Enemies to be destroyed now."
What are you doing? I understand you're along for the ride. I hate it, but I understand.
You stole what is mine. You have no room for complaint when I take what is yours. Crew at this point would place Carol back in the mindscape, forcing her to watch a memory of the brood invasion of her home world. During this mind trip, Carol would be escorted down memory lane by different versions of herself. Carol would see Crew and her husband trying to flee the onslaught. She would then be taken to a memory of a lab. There, Carol would see Crew being augmented to avenge the death of her husband and kids. In the physical world, Crew would take over Carol's body. She would do her best to dispatch as many brood as she could. Sadly, she would be overwhelmed and take a laser blast directly to the head. Carol would soon regain consciousness back in control of her body. Unfortunately, she was being dragged into a cave by two brood drones. As Carol was being pulled deeper inside, she would hear a familiar voice call to her, "Carol Danvers. It's most exciting that you're here as well as Crew." To Carol's horror, she was brought before the brood queen.
This is flat out impossible. I killed the queen years ago.
The queen would welcome Carol and Crew to her throne room on the new brood homeworld of Earth. As Carol tried to comprehend how the queen was still alive, the queen would gloat. She would tell Carol that she was the reason why she had returned. Although Carol killed her soldiers and destroyed her world, Carol's attack on her made her invincible.
I guess that makes two of us.
Is that so? Soldiers, not one to back down. Carol would deliver a swift kick to the queen's face, then dodge a blast from a warrior drone. Carol would then disarm the same shooter with a flying kick. Now armed with the blaster, Carol would take aim and fire. The queen would dodge the blast, then impale Carol's shoulder, disarming her, then impale her stomach, putting her down for the count. It appears the human definition of invincible is different than my own. Look closely, my soldiers. As the queen threw Carol's body to the ground, she would proclaim, "The brood's greatest enemies lie dead before me. We are victorious!" Eventually, Carol's team would track her down and go airborne to investigate the island. Aware of the situation, the queen would dispatch her drones to intercept Carol's team. Undeterred by the sheer number of brood, Carol's team would get to work, dispatching the drones. Although the team was doing their best, the number of brood were beginning to overwhelm them. Agent Sun would take the youngest team member, Anya, into the ship. While inside, he showed her a nuclear bomb. When asked what it was for, he would respond, "It is insurance, in case of theft of the minicarrier. If all goes well, we will not need to use this device, and if things don't, then you must be thankful for a swift death that follows, and be secure in the knowledge that many of your foes will fall with you." The queen would soon appear as the brood began to surround the ship. The team was soon overrun, and the brood began to breach the ship. As Carol lay bleeding to death on the floor of the cave, she would curse Crew for the events that led up to this point in time.
I just want to feel my hands around your stupid neck before I...
As Carol passed out, Crew would begin to fuse with Carol's arm. Inside Carol's mind, Crew would chastise her character flaws, but suddenly Carol seemed to be engulfed in a bright light.
What is that? What are you doing to me?
Open your eyes and see. Back at the minicarrier, the brood were beginning to fully overrun the ship until one of the drones would say, "My queen, danger!"
Yes, Queen. Danger. A great deal of danger, in fact.
As Carol hit the queen with a powerful photon blast, point blank, she would say to herself,
The word power doesn't begin to describe what I have going on. To feel the energy of creation and to know it's yours to control. I thought healing from anything was great. This is so much better.
Aboard the minicarrier, Carol's team would battle against the infiltrating brood. We then see Agent Sum and Anya still dealing with the nuclear bomb. Agent Sum would ask Anya if the bomb was ready. Hearing no response, he would turn to Anya to see her staring behind him in horror, then say, "Look out!" The queen would smash her way into the room via the window. As the two backed away from her, two brood drones would enter the door behind them. Agent Sun would open fire on the queen, but the bullets would bounce off of her diamond-like skin. He would save Anya from a deadly swipe from the queen, then quickly eliminate the two drones. While this was happening, the queen noticed the nuclear bomb. "Oh look, the humans have a weapon." Agent Sun would tell Anya to close her eyes as he took aim at the bomb. But when he pulled the trigger, click, it was empty. Little human, this weapon was meant to be the end of me, was it not?
I'd never give them the pleasure of ending you. I've slaughtered your children, Queen. You are the last brood on this planet, and now I have come to kill you too.
As Anya stared at Carol's binary form in amazement, Carol suddenly felt her powers beginning to fade. In a last-ditch effort, Carol would grab the queen and fly out of the minicarrier, then toss her towards a volcano. Unfortunately, the queen would land a few feet shy of the volcano's opening. As Carol landed near the queen, she would eventually burn out.
No, not now!
The little human is not as powerful as she once was.
I've still got enough left to take you down.
I'm tired of you now, little one. The queen would then return the favor and toss Carol towards the volcano. By now, Carol was completely drained. She even tried absorbing radiant energy from the volcano, but it wasn't enough. Still refusing to give up and die, perhaps I should help you. It is done.
Brew! You're back to normal.
This is how I awoke after separating us. My repair and rebuild protocols have been part of you for so long that when they returned to me, they rebuilt me as more. Irritating creatures simply refuse to die. The queen would then toss Crew's body into the mouth of the volcano, where it was consumed by the lava. Your turn now.
Try it, bitch!
As the queen moved in, Carol would catch her with a lead left uppercut. Carol would try a photon blast, but it had no effect. The queen would then grab Carol's legs and smash her to the ground. I'll snap you in half and eat your innards. Carol would see the bomb from the mini carrier, which gave her an idea. Carol would take hold of the bomb, then fly into space. As the queen gave chase, Carol made sure the queen was pointed away from Earth as she placed the bomb in the queen's mouth. With the last of her strength, Carol would fire a blast at the queen's mouth. Although the blast didn't kill the queen, Carol predicted that the queen should fly for a long time through space before she ran into anything. Completely exhausted, Carol would fall back through the atmosphere, crashing into the ocean. As she surfaced to the top, she would be spotted by a fellow teammate, Wonder Man. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think so. Let's go home.
And the Brood were defeated. For now. And that was Carol versus the Brood Part 2. Stay tuned for Part 3. I hope to see you there. And remember, perception is reality. None of this is real.